Can a supplement commonly found in watermelon actually make your arteries healthier? According to a clinical trial from Florida State University, the answer is yes, and the results are surprisingly measurable. Today, we're diving into the science behind L-citrulline and caffeine and how they affect both blood pressure and arterial stiffness in healthy young men. The study set out to examine the acute and short-term effects of L-citrulline and caffeine on cardiovascular health markers. It featured 16 healthy male participants aged between 18 and 35 years old, non-smokers and not on medication. It was a double-blind, placebo-controlled, randomized design. All participants were given 4 different interventions across separate visits: placebo, caffeine alone, citrulline alone, and a combination of citrulline and caffeine. Here's how the supplementation worked. Citrulline was dosed at 6 grams per day for 7 days. Caffeine was given at 200 milligrams and taken acutely. Placebo matched in appearance and taste to citrulline and caffeine, and the combination of caffeine and citrulline was where they gave caffeine after a citrulline load-in phase. Citrulline is an amino acid that increases nitric oxide, improving blood flow and relaxing blood vessels. Caffeine, on the other hand, is a known stimulant that can tighten vessels and raise blood pressure temporarily. And researchers weren't just taking high-level blood pressure readings, they went even deeper. They broke blood pressure readings down to brachial systolic blood pressure, aortic central blood pressure, carotid femoral pulse wave velocity, or CFPWV, which is a marker of arterial stiffness, and they also used an augmentation index, which is an indicator of wave reflection in arteries. Now let's get into the data, and this is where it gets exciting. So on citrulline alone versus placebo, the brachial blood pressure actually reduced by 6.4 millimeters of mercury. Aortic blood pressure also reduced by 5.9 millimeters of mercury, and the CFPWV score reduced by 0.6 milliseconds, which is a 9% improvement in arterial stiffness. That's a clinically meaningful drop, comparable to what some blood pressure medications can achieve. Now, on caffeine alone versus placebo, as expected, it increased blood pressure. So brachial blood pressure increased by 4.7 millimeters of mercury, and the AI index increased by 5 to 7%, suggesting increased arterial wave reflection, which is not a good thing. So, as expected, caffeine raised both peripheral and central pressures, potentially increasing cardiovascular strain. Now on to combined citrulline and caffeine supplementation. So when this happened, they saw minimal rises in blood pressure, both central and peripheral, and the AI index also was blunted compared to caffeine alone. But here's where it gets really interesting. When caffeine was taken after citrulline load-in, the negative vascular effects were largely neutralized. So what does this mean? In plain terms, L-citrulline improves arterial function even in young, healthy individuals. It reduces blood pressure and makes arteries more elastic. And interestingly, it may protect against the vascular stress caused by caffeine. So citrulline seems to offer a counterbalance against caffeine to offset its negative cardiovascular effects. Now, this was a very small sample size of just 16 individuals, and they were all young, healthy men, so we don't know if these results can be replicated in women or larger sample groups. Still, the findings are promising. If you're considering caffeine for performance or exercise, perhaps pairing it with citrulline might be a smart vascular move. What do you think about supplements like L-citrulline for cardiovascular health? Drop a comment below, and don't forget to like, subscribe and ring that notification bell for more science-backed health videos. Thanks for watching.